The sound of the band is unfuckwithable. Yes, that's a word.
But this isn't straight punk. There's some 90s indie rock turntables.
Yeah, turnarounds. There's some 90s. Might have to go to the second page of the website, but there's a really good one called Zero Grav.
No.
You take one pill and you can defy the law of gravity. Just float around the house. With the noise conjured by guitarist Malachi Green and Mikey Bifalco, it sounds like something from MTV's 120 Minutes or something.
I think it's Malachi. Or Malachi. Who knows?
I don't know. He's into Malachis, do you know?
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
Of course, it's been raining here for the last couple of days, probably because we bought a couple bags of mulch and stuff to fix up the garden with. And
we can affect the weather by buying outdoor items.
I can affect the weather very easily.
Okay.
What happened as soon as I got out summer clothes?
Yeah.
It got cold again.
Yeah, but it's been very much an April here, very much a Maryland April, in that I'm afraid to put anything away.
Yeah.
You know, I got my short sleeves out. One day I'm wearing tank tops, one wearing long sleeves. I mean, one day I got a jacket on. You never know. It changes by the hour, it seems. So what are you going to do? Merland. So anyway, so I was thinking about, the other day, someone asked me, is your show like clean comedy? And I realized I don't really understand what is clean comedy.
No,
because
it's dirty, filthy comedy.
Well, I mean, like when we go to upload it onto YouTube, they always say, is it for kids? And I was like, no, our show's not for kids, because we talk the way people actually talk. We drop F-bombs, we swear, but the story that I'm telling is basically clean, right? I mean, I'm telling a story about buying my mom a Christmas present. So, I mean, pretty wholesome stuff. So I would say that that's clean, even if I might say the F word. Anytime I talk about my mom, there's going to be some F-bombs involved, you know. I mean, is dirty comedy jokes about doing a line of coke off a whore's ass? Because I don't have a lot of that material. No, not a lot of that.
I don't know. Maybe we have semi-clean comedy.
I guess semi-clean, like our missionary mercenary joke. But you had to think about that one. Yeah, Trevor William Church the First.
We'll get back to him later.
Speaking of comedy related, I've always wondered if the comedy team at Bazooka Gum, right? I wonder if they've ever
those comics.
I wonder if they've ever had comic ideas that were too complicated to be included on a 1-inch square wrapper.
There's very few things that are.
I wonder if there were like arguments and resignations. I need at least another 1/2-inch boss for this joke. Like mass R&D, you know, resignations, you know.
That was always the worst gum.
Sure.
Hard.
We welcome your comedy. We welcome your jokes. One little caveat: it's got to fit here.
I never liked Bazooka. I like Hubba Bubba, but you always felt like you were like borderline getting ready to choke on it.
Yeah,
it was so big.
So big, yeah.
And this flavor still lasted about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And you just
I never liked Bazooka either. It was so hard.
Yeah.
It was like
and it
was like they took the gum from baseball cards and just made it into a cube, like a
put some weird white dust
on it. Yeah, maybe it was Twix dust. Again, going back to comedy stuff, I'm always fascinated by a comedian's opening line, like the, you know, hello Chicago, or, you know, the worst, the lamest is, how's everybody doing tonight? Like that's when you get pelted with eggs. That's funny. Of course, ours is greetings, Snaggletooth minions, which I think is great. Of course, we have about 4 minions, and 2 of them are relatives, but what the hell? So, oh well. Before I forget, we might get a phone call today.
Are you kidding? Today, our season finale.
Yep. Didn't you run into some overly grateful old people this week?
Oh God, we always have them.
Overly grateful. Yeah.
They're a little too grateful that I did my job and waited on them and made an appointment. You know, they're always like, thanks, you guys are the best service from any eye doctor. You know, I wonder if they're like that with everyone. I mean, they're just like, come on, you picked up all the trash? Or, you know, they're standing there, they can barely stand, they knock their cane over, so I run around to pick it up. Like, I'm just gonna let them fall to the earth because I'm too lazy to get up to pick up a stick. No. And they act like, Oh, you didn't have to do that. No, I didn't want to call 911 today. Okay. Hey, on your way.
Crossing guard. Damn if you didn't get all them kids all the way across the street. No child left behind. I think you pretty much have to do
I
that.
hate that slogan. It just, in my mind, it's always akin with push failing kids through school, so no child is left behind.
Did you know that the Quaker Oats guy dated Mrs. Butterworth for a while? Did you know that?
No.
Sadly, they had to break up. He came home and he found her improperly using the hamburger helper glove.
God.
I also think that gummy bears versus animal crackers would be a pretty fair fight. The gummies are kind of a soft target, I know, but the empire of animal crackers has been crumbling for years. I mean, everyone knows this.
Ever since, we were posing for animal crackers.
Yes.
My father used to say that. I never understood it.
Here's the speech that I would give if I was a CEO. Okay. And like some huge company like Elon Musk. Here's my Elon Musk speech. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming. Let's get into our year end. Definitely the accounting department has the numbers, but aeronautics is just taking off. Things are flat in counter sales, but the construction team is building bridges. The chemical division has remained solvent. Logistics seems to be in it for the long haul, while HR claims they're only human. I like to see less binary decision making in the IT department, and legal is going to have to make some judgment calls. Sadly, investor relations is a laughing stock at this point, but corporate communications are all the buzz. Thank you, and please get the fuck back to work. I think I'd be great. And we've had a really, like you were saying, season 2 has been so much fun. It was the season, it's going to always be special because it was a season that we went visual and assaulted YouTube properly.
Yes.
We were hesitant to do it, and then we just went all in.
It was pretty funny because I remember thinking about funny moments like our interview. Well, that was the other show, Mercenary. But we had to tell people sometimes we can't see you.
Yeah. Went on forever.
To turn on your video camera.
Yep. Next season is going to be, we're just going to take it a little further, taking it to the streets. You're going to see Mark and Stace popping up in the most unlikely of places, the most extraordinary of places. So Stace put together a really kick-butt little kind of retrospective of the season.
I have to get my glasses. This is your news report.
Actually, we both did, but Stace's is text and mine is, I'm going to play the video of mine in a minute.
So I just wanted to look back and give an update on all the people/bands that we interviewed this past season 2. We'll start off with season 1, Tim Green of the Fucking Champs. So in the music industry, as we've found by talking to a lot of people, Tim Green comes up quite frequently. He continues to work with artists in Louder Studios in Grass Valley, California, where they have horrible internet. And he recently engineered as well as played piano on Meg Bard's her Furling, which is like a folk release. But the big news for him is, I believe, for the 25th anniversary of the Fucking Champs 3, the band remastered the original tapes, including a vinyl re-release.
They'll send us a copy. We'll show it off next season.
For the very first time, this masterstroke of musicality is widely available to increasingly rock-starved public. It was even on Spotify's release radar. I was happy to see. So
it's the deaf ears thing.
Also, episode 2, Indonesian Junk, Daniel James. Now, we found out as of January 27th, 2023, that Indonesian Junk announced their amicable breakup. But Daniel James continues to play shows with Chinese telephones, not telephone poles, as some dumb blonde said, as well.
Let it go.
As well as work solo shows around Milwaukee. He recently announced a new project that he joined, World in Action. Think anarchy and peace punk stylings. And they are set to play their first show May 26th at the Cactus Club. So we'll have to keep an eye on them. I don't know why I keep saying season. Episode 3 was Thunder Mother and Guernica Mancini.
Big changes on this front.
Had a lovely chat with Guernica. But it was also announced in January. Philippa, who is the lead of Thunder Mother, decided to fire lead singer Garnica for undisclosed reasons. Upon hearing this, her bandmates Emily and bassist Mona, Emily's the drummer, also left the group. The three have decided they are now forming their own group called the Gems for Garnica, Emily, and Mona. Philippa has just gone on to hire a complete new lineup, and she will continue with Thunder Mother.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to feel about this, but I think Snaggletooth is going to side with Garnica. Episode 4 was the Shags and Dot Wiggins. So as far as we know, Dot continues to enjoy retirement and listening to Herman Herberts. I didn't find any further news on the documentary that they were producing, or if it will ever be released.
The one that never gets made.
So I don't know. It's still listed online as in pre-production, so maybe it's still one of those pandemic backups. I don't know.
We were besieged with Shags fans when we put that up. God, they clobbered that short.
Episode 5 was Emissary this was our first two band in a while, Jim Harris and Tim Mathman Dalen. The Wretched Masquerade continues to get rave reviews, and they are set to open for Sebastian Bach May 28th at Boatnick Brewfest.
Jim continues to torture me on Facebook. Facebook actually asked me, would you like to see less about Jim Harris? Anyway.
Episode 6 was Nevine with Gary Tarpley.
Yep.
They recently played a tour with another one of our Snaggle alumni from season 1, the Lords of the Trident. They were together at the Southwest Tour in the Boardwalk in Orangeville, California.
It's so incestuous.
They are scheduled to play Hammerfall June 4th. But the real crazy news about this band is the lead singer, which we also featured in
Skinner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Norman Skinner. He's super prolific. He is the lead singer of his own solo band Skinner, as well as Nevine, Elementus, and he also runs his own label, Dead Inside Records.
But then he got a big tour.
Yeah.
Who was it?
I have no idea.
We talked about it. It wasn't Blind Guardian, but it was somebody big like that. Anyway, Eister, something like that. Anyway, so he's a busy man, that Skinner.
So that was and Nevine also continues. The episode 7 was Venator, Anton Holzier and Hans Humer. They recently played the Black Forest Festival in Willenstein. Help me out with your German. Willenschwegen in Germany.
Schwenningen.
Thank you. They played there.
What he said.
In Germany in April, and they headline a tour at the Starlit Stock and Hard Heavy Austrian Music Festival. In May 2023, they continued to sport mustaches and to look like they were
frozen in amber in 1971. Seriously, though, if you're wasting your time with that crappy new Metallica album, put on the Venator album. That is where you ought to be listening. That is epic heavy metal with a touch of thrash to it. It's everything that new Metallica is not. Venator rules. That album's great. I can't wait to hear more from them, guys. So, anyway.
Episode 8 takes us to Sick and Beautiful, our interview with Herma. In March, they released a new video for their movie Starstruck, and they also just completed in April a tour called Halfway to the Grave, which was a tour of the UK. Herma continues her epic costumes and vocals.
Let up breasts, yes.
Episode 9 was Haunt. Trevor
William Church the first.
Currently touring in the Hell's Decibel tour in the U.S., which seems to be skipping Baltimore completely, by the way.
Okay.
Also, there's a little drama a few months ago when Trevor had apparently taken his dad's tapes. He goes by Electric Church. And he had some old tapes that a guy offered to remaster. Apparently, months had gone by, nothing had been done. Trevor asked for the tapes to be returned. Repeatedly, he got no response, so he took to going live on Instagram, and he had all of his followers basically troll and attack this guy until his girlfriend returned the tapes. He even he went live to do a live opening of the returned package, and luckily, it all ended well. The tapes were in good shape. So, in
those
other news,
damn tapes.
In other news, Hunt recently released a single, Shimera.
Yeah.
So they continue to record new music. If you haven't checked them out, definitely check them out.
While we're on the subject, also this week there is a new Sparks album that just dropped that we'll be dissecting, and there is a new song by Occult Fracture
Yeah.
that I can't wait to get behind. So new.
Also, then we went to episode 10, Kicks with Ronnie 1010 Yunkin. Kicks is gearing up for the Merryweather Post Pavilion. You think I could say that? It's right near here. Festival. That's the M3 Rock Festival, and that's a 2-day 80s orgy of Styx, Winger, Quiet Riot, Lita Ford, Great White, LA Guns, and Kicks always closes out the show
It's
every
not
year.
an actual orgy.
Ronnie continues with the Blues Vultures, with writing, with his impressively neat handwriting and recording.
It's really a lot of Aquanet.
We wish
what it is.
Then we went to episode 11 with Trauma with Chris Gustafson. I always say that wrong. So we actually got meet up to Chris when the Digital Alliance tour with Greenway came to Baltimore. So we got to have a little chat with them. And it looks like they will be returning home to record new music. So we're excited about that. Season 12 was Clutch with Jean-Paul Gastier.
Episode 12.
Episode 12. Do I get it?
You keep saying season.
I do. Episode 12 with was Clutch with Jean-Paul Gastier. Clutch is on a huge tour of the U.S. right now. The No Stars Above tour. It continues throughout the summer. They also released the PA tapes, and they were released on the 30th anniversary day that they were actually recorded in Norfolk, Virginia, April 25th, 1993. So that is also available on Spotify. Got some great live from one of their very first shows ever.
And in other news, I found my Clutch shirt.
Yay. Then we went to episode 13 with Motive Black, Alana Justin. She continues to promote her new album, Auburn, and also her love for pit bulls.
Yes.
Episode 14 was Hammers of Misfortune with John Cobbett and Tristan Cobbett. John also appeared in a alumni of our podcast. He appeared on his podcast. That was Alan Averill. So that was another strange cross-pollination.
Yep.
And for our last, this was actually episode 16 and 17, was Cross Country Drivers Rob Lamoth. There's a new video out for Risen. Rob continues to support Xander and his project Logan Stats, and also riding his bicycle fully on vegan power alone.
So he got all the CD jackets. Did you see that?
Yes.
They're putting CD packets together. So get your copy of Cross Country Driver. So
that's our little
very nice
report, a little catch up on
that was Stacy's retrospective. I put one together too, so I'll play it for you now. This is season 2 in review. I found this record when I was going through my vinyl the other day, and I don't even remember how I got it or when I got it, but the band is called the Pink Sexies, and they're from North Carolina. I figured I'd show it off because it has song titles like, and the song was like Frankenhooker and Bye Bye Zombie Baby. It came out on 2001 on Rectum Records, WRECKED Records. And it was followed by their Monster 2004 release. I'm sure you've all heard Rock and Roll Mustache Ride.
Oh my.
Read off the names of the guys that are in the band.
Mr. Random Meat on bass. Cheesy Fondue on drums.
Drummy, they said.
On drummy?
Yeah.
I thought that was a typo.
Creamy Sue Jeans on the Git box. And finally, I don't even understand. There's an Applian hijacker? Mouth.
A plane hijacker.
Oh yes. I'm so glad I found this. This is when you have a nice vinyl collection. It's just little gems like this just tumble out sometimes. So let's play a song that the song is called Surf It Stupid. Sorry, you're reviewing The Air?
Somehow, I think this is going to make me wish for another Val review.
Land's sakes, Mr. Mark. I don't think anybody's done it yet.
Not until today. Lucky us. Please don't call me mister.
So if I could begin, Mr. Mark. What you see there is none other than mother-loving Mickey D's. Stopped in for their signature flapjacks and noticed it's a little greasy in there.
You think?
Holy guacamole, Mrs. Mark.
Signature flapjacks? What's happening? I'm getting a weird feeling again. Can you please just pull over? Please just pull over. Please let me drive.
You want to drive?
Ah! Oh, Jesus. Ah! Do I walk through the valley of the darkness? I fear no evil because I have Jesus the Lord at my side.
Oh my! Shut up, woman! Pass this guy, Ann.
I'm not passing anyone. This is a record that introduced me to the concept of drug envy because it's so bonkers. I could not imagine the drugs they're doing. Like I would listen to it even now, and I'm like, imagine the drugs. Probably some great shit I never even heard of. Speaking of that, we did the train garden thing when I was a boy, also. And then one year, my father upgraded, and he got one of those Tyco race sets. You remember those?
Yeah.
So it was like these tracks with loops and stuff. And when you used the remote control, the cars would, fly through there. So it didn't take my brothers and I long. We always bastardized everything. So after a while, we figured out we could take the track apart and we pointed it towards the Christmas tree.
Oh.
So we got it so that it would launch. We would launch the cars. It would go into the tree. He broke so many bulbs, and of course, that was the end of the Tyco race sets in our house because we had sufficiently bastardized it. I'm gonna fix mine. So this chick from Seattle comes home from the pub, finds a man who broke in. He's asleep in the tub. Oh, baby, didn't steal anything, baby. But have you got a towel? Have you got a towel for me, dear? The stories never stop. Thanks to the AP, I've lost all my faith in humanity. Don't forget to have a towel. Something that we used to talk about when I was late teens, early 20s. We were always trying to get served back in the day.
Cosmacos. You could get served as Cosmacos.
Apparently, the Dread Pirate Wesley can't write either.
Well, maybe that's why they use quill pens. Better grip.
This, of course, isn't right now. Anyway, I don't need the visual aid. I'll make it later. But so we used to say, we'd be at these restaurants or bars, and I would say, we prosecute anyone attempting to buy alcohol underage, right? So we used to talk about, like, why don't we test the strength of their policy? But right in front of them, take out a piece of paper, write fake ID at the top, draw a stick figure, age 1 million, and then hand it to the server and say, here's my ID. I'd like a shot of Jaeger, please. Would they really prosecute for that? Kind of along the same lines. I'm not a big Marvel fan either. I've never been a big superhero kind of guy. But I do remember this scene. My kids liked the Avengers flicks. And the big blue dude, Thanos.
Oh, yeah.
Guy, he's just about to kill Thor or kill Loki or something. I don't remember who he was about to kill. Somebody. And the guy's like pleading for his life. And just before he kills him, he says, the best line, he goes, your optimism is misplaced, Asgardian. And that is such a great line. And I've been thinking about the place where I could use it for months. And I finally decided that Joann Fabrics is where I should use that line. Because the next time I'm at Joann and I'm buying like a picture frame or adhesive tape or something like that, and the woman says, do you have a Joann Fabrics rewards account?
Or coupons?
I can say, your optimism is misplaced, oh aproned one. Carol, her taste in men appalling, makes the wrong choice every time. But Daryl understands, it seems, she's always on the verge of a killing spree.
Negan's a slacker, killer from the start. Used, abused, and betrayed. His heart is black, but he's so damn witty, and he always needs a shave. Walking Dead spin-offs forever.
This has all been prearranged. Walking Dead spin-offs forever. 'Cause Hollywood has no shame. This business of receipts, it must be explored. Let's do that now, shall we?
If you have a bonus card,
So we got. Sure, it's all 10.5 inches.
thank you for shopping at the Home Depot.
All right, this is pretty small. So we got that coming in at, it's under 8. It's about 7.5.
It takes here. Hold on a minute. It says approved, right? But look at the wait time for the receipt to go.
Take points off for wait time alone.
Okay, there we go.
It's pretty epic. Alright, make sure we get it all the way up. Wow. We're at a solid 12 inches.
That's what she said. Gryffindor, the hat agreed. A flying car is what I need. That Malfoy is a cunt indeed. I'm Harry Potter, bitch. A basilisk I've left behind, a hippogriff that's quite maligned, another broomstick I can't find. Another golden egg for you, some gillyweed will have to do, a Triwizard tournament to get through. I'm flying like a maniac, seeking way to hell and back, another bludger I can whack. I'm Harry Potter, bitch. Another burrow we can burn, Death Eaters they never learn, Ron and Hermione quite concerned. Another Quidditch game to play, another dragon I can slay, another spell I'll learn to say. Another bloody Hogwarts ghost, another quaffle through the post, and I've still got this scar to boast. I'm Harry Potter, bitch.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
Yeah, that turned out good. What you think?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this. Our soap operas, I think, of the past. When we grew up, soap operas kind of ruled the roost in the 80s, 70s and 80s.
They were after school, as well as they had primetime soap operas.
I'm guessing that's pretty much all my mom did because she was a terrible cook. So there was always, her stories were always on. These were, some of your coworkers watched, we used to DVR them, right?
Oh, yeah. I watched The Young and the Restless with the point until when my toddler daughter was asking me questions about Victor and Nikki and Sharon, and was Sharon going to be dead or not? I thought maybe I better not watch them around her anymore.
The baby his?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might not be good. So Google Machine says that there are only 4 left: The Bold and the Beautiful, Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, and The Young and the Restless. That's the big 4, I guess. Imagine when these were the only daytime choices you had. Remember daycare?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I got, out of school, of course, we had to go to daycare because my parents were working. And that was it. That was all that was on TV. We watched General Hospital. My mom used to call them As the Stomach Turns. All My Children.
Group jokes.
But yeah, until Tom and Jerry came on, and they thought apparently this was a good idea to put on for children ages, 6 through 11. We watched it. It was the only game in town.
I'm sure there's a camera angle with the person accusing the other one, both facing forward.
Yes, they have to be tandem. They can't ever look at each other and fight. They have to stare at the back of each other's heads and fight. It's very weird.
Yeah.
But it's good because it's like the one person that can't have the frozen, hide the expression face, because they know they're facing away from them. So as this person behind him is making these comments or these big reveals, they can make the dramatic grab onto furniture, wince.
I was actually at Jacqueline's house. I know it. Then there was the dramatic fake slap, like Dynasty.
Dynasty was famous for slapping. Even Prince sang about it.
Professional fake crying. Many of these people attended the Royal Hospital for overacting. What do you mean you're pregnant? The operation didn't take. What will I tell Mark? How will this affect the cats? Are we still out of cornflakes? All right, I winged it a little bit on that. So, Stace and I decided that we were going to make a Snaggletooth style soap opera. So here it is. Can I sit next to you, girl?
Who are you?
Take it easy.
Don't do me like that.
I've got 2 tickets to paradise.
I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
I think you're just what I needed.
You make me feel like a natural woman.
Then have a drink on me.
I want a bourbon, I want scotch, I want beer. I don't fear the Reaper.
Every rose has a thorn.
Do you feel like I do?
Don't stand so close.
Do you really want to hurt me?
People are strange.
I want you to want me.
Who let the dogs out?
Patience.
All right now.
Don't stop. Doctor, please.
Walk this way.
I want to be sedated.
You can't always get what you want.
You're cold as ice.
Any double vision?
Dream on.
The stroke?
Too much time on my hands.
You got me under pressure.
You make loving fun.
If it makes you happy.
Don't know if you got that, but that was all song titles. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't.
Okay, why don't you talk about a feature interview today?
All right, our feature interview today is with none other than Shaky Sue of the psychobilly alt metal outfit, the Hellfreaks.
There she is behind us.
They're kind of genre-less right now. They're a wonderful blend of everything. We've been spinning the last two records, God on the Run and Pitch Black Sunset, pretty much relentlessly, since featuring them on the Deaf Ears episode. We had a super fun sit down with Sue discussing everything from the Hungarian metal scene to not getting paid for gigs to cats. So stay tuned for that.
She also has 4. It's like a disease.
My
So
mom.
stay tuned for that.
My mom had me a sign. It says, cats are like potato chips. You can't have just one.
Some days you just have to be the cat mom. Okay, let's get pumped up. This blistering track from the Hellfreaks 2020 album, God on the Run. This is Red Sky. Ooh.
One of my favorites.
Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/Snaggletooth Podcasts. We got our home chef order, so Stace is going to do her latest satanic recipe, which is...
It's a chicken Satan pini.
Yes, delicious. Yeah, we teased it last show, but we didn't have the materials, so we couldn't do it. Gotta have the materials. Terrible. So this week, I'm going to upload some more exclusive content that you can only get at our Patreon. I will explain why the Midwestern metal scene actually blew the doors off all your favorite Seattle bands back in the early 90s. It was a crime that these crappy Seattle bands that could barely get out of their own way became the grunge era. Prepare to be reprogrammed with all the weird and wild crushers from 89 to 93 that you missed out on because they didn't look as pitiful as Kurt Cobain in a cardigan. So that's coming. Yep.
Good stuff, folks. And remember, every time you go to Patreon and either monthly subscribe or just send us a one-time donation, you're helping support this podcast. It's right now it's Mark and Stace's expensive hobby. It's always new equipment we're getting. We got a brand new camera to take it on the road. So any help would be appreciated in making this podcast even better for you. And we really do try to be 1% better every show.
And while we're at it, if you run some kind of a tattoo shop, or let's say that you have a heavy metal clothing line, or you have some kind of a shop that you would like us to promote on the show, come at me in the comments, send us an email. We can work something out. We'll be happy to help promote your products and services on our show. That also will help us build our audience. So get in touch with us. We're happy to help. So yes, as you guys know, we watch a lot of dark TV. We're watching a show about the Tate Bianca murders, the Manson family stuff.
Oh, it was People Magazine,
yeah.
Cult edition.
Right. Now, I didn't realize that one of the murdered was Abigail Folger, the heiress to the Folgers Coffee Company fortune. And again, it was one of my, not supposed to laugh, but I couldn't help it. I wonder if when they got back from murdering these people, if Chuck was pissed. If he said, "Really? Have you tasted how delicious her coffee was? I will not go back to Sanka because of you idiots. Why didn't you knock off little Chiquita Banana Lady instead?" I just wonder if there was kind of a coffee. Shit, we're back to instant. And speaking of villains, Do you know who the dude is on the horse at P.F. Chang's restaurant?
I just always assumed it was some kind of Chinese general.
It is. Evidently, the dude was a hated monarch. Qin Shi Huangdi, the first emperor of China. I did some research on this. Apparently, he was a super cruel dictator, buried people alive. His concubines refused to bear him any children. There were at least 3 assassination attempts on him. And some people think Colonel Sanders is offensive.
Well, he does have really yummy orange chicken.
Hey, I love me some P.F. Chang's, but the dude on the horse is badass, but it just seems a little.
It's like everyone says, Colonel Sanders was obviously a plantation owner, but, they had to get rid of that Land O'Lakes lady. She was kneeling there just looking all pretty, but now it looks like she just walked off frame and there's just a lake and a sunset. She did nothing wrong.
So, a little bit of a left turn, but I was thinking about astronauts. There's so much training involved. I read about what it takes to become a NASA astronaut, learning physics, aerodynamics, lots of swim training and simulations for the zero gravity environments. I wonder if NASA ever recruited a guy and it was like, you're exactly what we want. You got A+ and all the physical stuff, pass all the exams. And if anyone ever said, yeah, I'm interested in traveling through the cosmos, but you lost me at Cape Canaveral. I don't like the heat in Florida. I don't like the old people, white belts, white shoes. Ugh.
Lots of people walking dogs.
I'm going to just stay where I am. And I think I might open up a dry cleaning business. So I'll tell you what, if you ever move your little launch pad thingy someplace more out in the country, let me know. I wonder if that ever happened.
And they said, oh, and I don't really like your astronaut ice cream. It's not even cold. It's weird.
Oh, yeah. And then, so that spawned us to look into a little more regarding the space program. And
do you know, after their trip to the moon, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins, they splashed down in the ocean. It was some 920 miles off the coast of Hawaii.
And Kate Aldridge played back from the moon. Sorry, that didn't really happen. Hi, Kate. Hi, Kate.
And once they were back, our red-taped bureaucracy made them go through customs. Do you think they had to stamp their passport? Is there a moon stamp?
I'd like to see that passport stamp.
Jeez. Could you imagine filling out the forms? Flight number, Apollo 11. Layover, moon. Cargo, the moon rock and dust samples that you wanted us to collect. Basically, then the question, anything that could lead to the type of disease. They're not sure because it's non-terrestrial. They actually had no idea if there were, weird bacterias or viruses up there. So they were one of the first quarantiners. They had to hermetically seal themselves for 88 hours. And then after that, 21 days, they had to live in an isolation trailer. After now, they decided they were moon plague free and they could just, wander back into the general population, but that had to be stressful.
I'm sorry, but your blue suitcase was 13 pounds overweight. You're going to have to pay a $13 fine. Oh, very interesting stuff. I think I hear my phone.
God.
Hello, this is Mark.
Hello, could you direct me to your review department, please?
Christ, I thought we were done with this. Had to desecrate the season finale, really?
You seem stressed out, Mrs. Mark. I recommend inversion boots.
Let's get this over with, Stu. I've got the first picture up now. What's this, some kind of Viking helmet?
Well, enough with the Floy. Going off the cob with this one. This is a review of my laundry. Now, this little beauty got a lot of noggin time at the last county council meeting. Geezer at the dry cleaner always gives me a weird look when I drop it off. I figure it has to be dry clean only. I give it a 3.
I bet that makes quite the racket in the dryer. It's gotta sound ridiculous.
Moving on to this little piece that came in handy at a little soiree called Talladega last week. Gotta look sharp for the NASCAR folks or there'll be a rhubarb. Shake and bake. Solid 4 out of 5.
Wow, a priest collar. Did you hear any confessions at the raceway, Stu?
As a matter of fact, some lady showed me her tattoo. The vulgarity. And people wouldn't let their kids come near, but I knew what they were up to. I'm no chucklehead. Moving on again to the unmentionable department. These little babies come in handy when it's time to mow the lawn, get the mail, or sell some Amway products. Full marks indeed.
You're gonna have to give me a minute to absorb this one, Stu.
Oh, are you crazy? Don't encourage this. It's bad enough he's showing his diapers off.
This little piece is a surefire winner when I want to get togged to the bricks and visit a new neighbor. Gets quite a reaction if I knock on a window. I was at a loss as to why. Unbelievable yuck-yucks in a 4 out of 5.
Have you ever seen The Strangers, Stu?
Strangers are just family you haven't come to know yet,
Oh.
Mr. Moore.
Yeah, I walked right into that one.
Finally, because sometimes you just want to get comfortable and sit around the house and maybe knit something, these look great with a muumuu. A fashionable 3 out of 5.
Very revealing, Stu. No panty lines are always the finished look.
This has been Disturbing Thongs with Stu Manchu.
Thanks so much to both of you. Can't wait for season 3. I've got a whole arsenal of stuff.
Goodbye, Stu! You know, I really think we're going to have to talk about limiting our Stu exposure time next season.
Did you know that for a while the Good Humor Man was dating the Chiquita Banana Lady?
What?
They had to go their separate ways eventually. It was a banana split.
And I think he's rubbing off on you.
Okay, let's play another song. This is the Hellfreaks with Hit Me Where It Hurts. Look, you're hanging around with Stu Manchu way too much, okay? Guy's an idiot. Come on. All right. Home Nutrition. Stace is up.
All right. So our sponsor is Hum Nutrition. They're this company out of California that makes all kinds of supplements. If this isn't a ringing endorsement, I'm going to feature a collagen pop. They are these great marine collagen that you put in water. They're actually quite tasty, kind of like a strawberry lemonade flavor. I use half a pill in water. I drink it every morning with my coffee. And it was even endorsed by a lady that I went and got a facial from. And she said, yes, that was a great thing to do. It really does help plump the skin. I had an injury to my hamstring from dance that was there for years. And it finally took the collagen to kind of help heal it. I definitely noticed a difference. They make many great products. We enjoy Wingman for, those times you might overindulge a little with the milk thistle. I enjoy Red Carpet. This is also with linoleic acid, which is great for the skin, hair, nails. Although Mark thinks it makes its nails grow a little too quickly. They have many, many great products. They even have gummies now if you want to get your extra nutrition. They have a probiotic that I put in all my smoothies. So use the link over to Hum Nutrition. You will get $20 off your first order.
Might have to go to the second page of the website, but there's a really good one called Zero Grav.
No.
You take one pill and you can defy the law of gravity. Just float around the house. It's great.
All right, astronaut Mark.
It's great. Okay. Fluctuation time.
Yeah.
Today, I thought we'd change it up a bit. We're going to go with the year 1979. Two very different records that came out in 1979. We're going to start off first with Thin Lizzy's Black Rose. This is Thin Lizzy at the top of their game. Robbo is gone for being a dumbass. And they brought Gary Moore back, who was a member of the band in the early days, to play some searing guitar with Scott Gorham. From the rollicking drum and bass intro to the anthemic opener, Do Anything You Want to Do, the guitars just bloom in sumptuous union. The sound of the band is unfuckwithable. Yes, that's a word. The meter, the rhymes, Philo's Elvis shtick, his swagger just bounds from the speakers. His lyrics are, as usual, tales from decaying urban wastelands like Toughest Street in Town and S&M. The story of gambling hustler Valentino in Waiting for an Alibi, just effortlessly tossed off. The grand poobah of rock machismo. How do you like that? That's a Marchman original right there. For all the blustering guitars and back alley brawl stories, Philo somehow conjures Sarah, one of his most heartfelt lovesick expressions to date. Light blues harp and hooks on top of hooks, frosted with a really weird kind of fusion guitar solo from Gary Moore. The album's centerpiece is a 7+ minute epic, Roisin dub, Black Rose, a rock legend. A song inspired by Lynnett's favorite Irish poems that move through 4 sections, and the guitars just storm with folk-inspired intricacy. Lynette drops lines like, Oscar, he's going well, and my dark Rosaline is my only Colleen. If that song doesn't put wind in your sails or make you cry a little, then you're not fucking human. Just look at this album cover. This is the Magna Carta of 70s hard rock, people. Live it, love it, learn it. This has got to give it up.
Another Snaggletooth tie-in. We interviewed the band Black Rose way back in season
How
1.
do you like that? We're so on top of things. We are on top of things tooth.com.
Might
Yes.
have been why someone got you that record.
Might have been, yes. That was a gift from Stace, that Black Rose vinyl. Yeah. Okay, Collectorbation 2. Completely switching gears now. Why don't you take this one?
All right, this is a whip-smart power pop gem that has been stuck in Mark's crawl since his college days.
Yes.
Sometimes a little too deep. This is Joe Jackson's debut, Look Sharp.
Love the white shoes. Look at that.
He's probably saying, that's the worst singing I've ever heard. That's what it looks like.
Get the live album, Joe Jackson Live 80 to 86. He does, Is She Really Going Out With Him? And the crowd starts to sing and he says, that's probably the worst singing I've ever heard. Great stuff. Anyway, this is a record that's just crammed with punk energy, pop smarts, and an incredible rhythm section. Just listen to Graham Maybe's bass workouts that hold the whole thing together in cuts like Baby Stick Around, One More Time, Fools in Love, and of course, Got the Time. That song is so fucking tight.
The thing is, it's a fun record.
It's fun.
The lyrics to Is She Really Going Out With Him and Happy Loving Couples are dosed with comedy.
Yeah.
And they still hold up today. It fits right in with the Cars, Pretenders, Squeeze. Personally, I could never decide which was a better album. Elvis Costello's My Aim Is True or this one.
Whichever one is on at the time. Yeah. So this is Sunday Papers. Okay, I think it's time for us to introduce the interview with the shakiest of Sues. What do you think?
Yeah, we forgot to ask Shaky Sue why she is Shaky Sue. I had
Yeah.
that in my questions.
Well,
We talked about so many things.
We did. We really covered a lot.
And the conversation is great. I have really come to love this band. If you haven't gotten over there to listen to especially their last 3 albums, do it immediately. Don't pass go. Do not collect $200. Get over to Hellfreaks.
Who would think that someone all the way over in Budapest could be so linked to people in Baltimore because we both have 4 cats? I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like we're like kindred now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can tell she's a girl who, like me, likes her lipstick. So I think we have a lot in common.
Okay, here it is. Well, thank you for doing this. We've been all Hellfreaks these last few weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
so nice
Last
to meet
2
you
records.
guys.
Yeah.
I must tell you, the first song that really grabbed me by you guys was Red Sky. Was the first time
Yeah.
I really heard you, and I was hooked. And then it was like you were gone because that was like 2019. But I love the new one. But I must say, and then we went back and listened to you guys from the inception, and I can't say that there's one in version of this band that I haven't liked.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, I mean, there have been a couple of versions, I know.
Couple versions, couple hair
Yeah.
colors. We all know how that goes.
yeah. I mean, we're doing this now for 14 years. That's a lifetime. So obviously, we are not the same persons as we were like in our teenager years and what we are right now. Or at least, hopefully, we're not the same persons.
Yeah, it's hard with because psychobilly has such a small but rabid fan base.
Yeah.
And then it's like a double-edged sword. If you keep putting out the same album, people will say, oh, they keep putting out the same album, who cares? And then some people, were they upset that you changed genres?
Oh, honestly, my whole life, I have to face people who hate the fact that I'm changing, and I'm facing people who hate the fact that I don't change. This happens every time. Whenever you're doing something that people can see, this is just what's going to happen. So it doesn't matter what you do, you will have you people that will criticize you for whatever reason. And
That's true.
and I'm like, when we started this band, we were very much into the psychobilly scene. And as you said, it was just a small scene. It is still just a small scene, but we were just very much infected with that music. And as actually when we started the band, we also, I mean, I never thought that, this band is going to be part of my life. Like 14 years later, I did not took this serious, we just,
Yeah.
we're just a couple of friends who wanted to hang out together, do some loud music, and just like enjoy ourselves. So there was no real concept behind it. And just with the years, when I realized that actually I love to be in a band and I love to write music, that was when I also realized that, but I hate to repeat myself, And that was what happened after we made 2 psychobilly albums. I felt like, okay, now I just can do the same thing again and again. I can talk about the same thing and again, but that's just like from the artistic side, it wasn't really satisfying for me anymore. So, and this is underground music, so I'm not doing it for like money because there is no money in that, so I had to be a kind of egoist in that question, that I just wanted to continue with doing music, and for me the way to continue doing music was to change. And so never ever did I face any moment in my life when I wasn't sure that for me it was the best decision to step out of psychobilly and do whatever I wanted to do, Even though I still love psychobilly music, I still love like the whole atmosphere that it has, the whole scene. I love it, but I just don't want to be an active part of it, because I'm just like, I hate to look back in the past. I'm a kind of person who likes to look forward, and for me, psychobilly is looking back.
So you don't play any of the old songs in the live show anymore?
We play a few from the first 2 albums, but we don't have a double bass anymore on the
I was gonna
stage.
say,
So
we need
because of that, we had to change the style, the style anyway. So we still play some of those songs, but of course they have now a little bit of a different style.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, as Mark will attest, I am a sucker for that genre blend, and I love what you guys do, and I think you do it really well. Like, I love As Everything Unfolds, I love Butcher Babies, but there's something about the blend that you have and the lyrics that you have that I think make you guys number one.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It is, I think it is still easier to do music if you are just in one lane of a genre, if you just do pure metal or pure punk or pure hardcore. I still believe that it's a bit easier, for concerts or for festivals, because people can easily, or at least more the organizer can easily categorize you, and that's a thing. But on the other side, there are so many really good bands out there, and there are actually so many bands out there that if you want to do something new, I think it's a must to step out of the genres and to start to mix the different genres with each other, So I really wanted for us, each and every band member, they are all focused in whatever we do. Let's try to stay in our unique thing. Whatever it is, let's try to stay in our unique thing, even if it's time to time a brave step to do this, because you never know how people will react. But I think I am really grateful, for the fans that we are surrounded with, because I think that nowadays people are way more open-minded, and they are way more open for mixing the genres and for stepping out the genres, because there has been, for me, I personally always telling that, for example, psychobilly music, it is stuck in the past because there are a lot of gatekeeper in that scene, So when we started as a band with the Hellfreaks, there were many other, especially female-fronted bands here in Europe, who just started at the same time. And all of them are out right now, still doing music, but are out of the psychobilly scene, because we all got sick of the gatekeepers. We all got sick of people who are saying, oh, this is not true rockabilly. Oh, this is not true psychobilly. You just get bored of that, and you don't, you're sick of fighting against these type of people. So some of us just step out of it and did their own thing. But I think if you have a scene where you don't allow to have a kind of new wave, where you are against that scene will definitely die with the years, especially in years like this. And that's why, for example, I'm like really in love with the metal scene, because I think, especially, I mean, metal is like a super wide genre. I mean, there are so many different subgenres that almost have nothing to do with each other, so that it's anyway a really big field to play on. But I also think that they are like, compared to other genres, the people are super open-minded to mix it with different type of genres, and that's why I really love this scene so much.
What are they called? Is it not Jimmy Boys, where they have in rockabilly, where they have the leather jacket and the ducktail hair and the look? What's it? It's not Tommy Boys or Jimmy Boys. What's the name of it?
Daddy Boy?
There it is. Yeah. I couldn't think of it. I was like, that's to me the stereotypical gatekeeper of the rockabilly scene. He has to have the perfect leather.
But the funny thing is that, like, if we're talking just about the rockabilly scene, I totally understand that is really a scene that is stuck in the past because it's based on the past music. So for rockabilly, I absolutely accept that they are saying that you have to keep it like, no, you have to stick to your roots. I even agree with that. But psychobilly, it was the modern answer for rockabilly, It was the thing, it was the type of genre that said, cool, we love rockabilly, let's mix it with different thing. And then these people got old. They turned into the same old guys like the rockabilly guys were back then, who just, the same old guys who just said, oh, now I don't want you to change anything in our genre anymore. So it's kind of amusing, I think.
I blame Lux Interior. He shouldn't have died. Right?
Yeah.
It all went to hell after that.
But yeah, as I said, I mean, I don't want to talk badly about that subculture, because I even, actually, I still really love psychobilly music, and I still really love to listen to it. So it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying that for me, it was a very natural step and the good step to step out of that and do whatever I wanted to do.
Tell us about you had a gymnastics injury that kind of led to your changing into music, something like that. I remember reading about it.
Yeah. I grew up with sport. So actually I was like, I don't know, 4 years old when I first went into a gym and saw gymnasts, and my sister was also a gymnast. So I really wanted to do gymnastics. So that was my thing. And I took it very serious. I had like 6 times a week trainings. Even I was more time in the gym than in the school. So it was really a serious thing. But then, when I was 14 years old, I just landed wrongly on my feet.
No.
It wasn't even a really, a bad fall or something like that. I just landed wrong on my feet, and I had a really serious spine injury.
Wow.
And from one day to the other, they told me that there is no way that I can continue to do gymnastics.
How old were you when this happened?
14.
Oh,
And you would, you would think that, oh, it's just the perfect time because a teenager should be happy about free time. I wasn't. For me, my whole life was about doing sport and having a goal and fighting for that. It was, my whole mindset was programmed about gymnastics, and then from one day to the other, it was just blown away. And I actually even had to learn to walk properly again. So it was a really difficult time for me. But still, the most difficult part for me was to accept the situation. And then when I realized that, okay, now I have free time, but if I don't do anything, I'm definitely will go crazy and I have to change something. That was the moment when I started to play drums. because my uncle is a drummer. He played drums all his life. And I thought like, okay, I mean, he can maybe show me something, you know? So I started to play drums, and I even had my first band was as a drummer. But I was really not a good drummer. It was just about fun, you know? And then so that was how I actually found to music. And I mean to do music. How I found literally to the whole like punk scene and hardcore scene was because this happened to me. I was a very angry teenager, you know, because I really felt like that this is so crazy unfair what happened to me. So I was like filled up with all these emotions till the top. And then I was going the first time to punk shows and to hardcore shows. And that was the first time when I saw that, oh, like you can put all this negative energy into something so positive.
Yeah.
So that was how I was like actually ending up in the punk and hardcore and metal scene. And then later on, as I said, I had my first band, but I played drums, but it was just really a local thing. And yeah, then there it turned out accidentally that my voice isn't that bad. Maybe we should do something.
Your voice is great. It's great.
Maybe we should do something about it. And yeah, that was how the Hellfreaks was born in 2009.
So you don't still feel the need to jump in and show your drummer how it's done, huh?
No. No. Yeah, actually, I'm like, I had so many interviews, you know, in the last weeks, and it came up so often that, oh, you've been a drummer, and I'm like, oh, no. I just played a bit of drums. Don't call me a drummer, because that would be like an offense for all the drummers out there.
That's great.
So I was reading some crazy stuff about this force attack in northern Germany where the promoter left. So
yeah.
And what was the conversation like? We're like, well, we're not going to get paid, so we're still going to play.
Yeah, I mean that was almost it. So the thing was, but this happened like million ages ago, and we were already on tour. We were already in the northern part of Germany. This is around. Oh, I have no idea how many miles it is. It is 1,000 kilometers. I have no idea how many miles it is. Something around 700 miles. Yeah, something like that.
Right.
So we were far from home, and we had, you know, we had even more gigs. So we heard on the road, but it was more like a gossip, you know, it wasn't like a fact. It was more like a gossip that the organizer of the festival, he just left the festival and took all the money, and that it is like we can go there, but they also understand if we don't go there. And we said like, it's actually we have to do anyway something on this day, so let's go there and see what's going on. And it was like it was pure anarchy. It was crazy. The organizer really left, because the organizer left all the staff that worked there, like the biggest part of them also left the festival, but the people, they were still there, and some bands were still there. And we thought that if we are already there, we have nothing to lose. We don't even know if there is any electricity, you know. We don't even know if we can make any sound. There was definitely no light, but we thought that, I mean, that's people are here. They are already drunk. They have a good time. I mean, let's just join them, you know. So we tried to do like something like a show. and yeah, it was really funny, because as I said, like all those punks were super drunk, and you know how drunk guy, I wouldn't say punk guys, but drunk guys normally are, that they see something stupid and they think that, oh, this is the best idea, I should do this as well. So this is how it happened, that there was in the first line, they were sending a full naked guy. And then the other guys who were also drunk thought like, oh, this is a great idea. I will also stay here fully naked in front of the stage. So at the end, I had like, I don't know, 10 or 20 naked guys in front of the stage. And I was like, that's a bit weird. I mean, I mean, okay, it's Germany, and I know they have a thing with the nudity, to be honest. So they have anything, something like that in their like culture, you know. So yeah, we did the show. We did not get paid, but it was a good memory, or it was a funny memory.
Yeah. That's such a shame you hear about that. I mean, I mean, there's so much expense for the bands to travel there, and you got to bring your instruments with you, and obviously there's food, and there's you got just to not get paid is just it's such a
Yeah, it
travesty when
is.
that happens.
I mean, of course, I absolutely agree with you, but it's also important to say that this was 10 years ago, or around 10 years ago, and then the situation for touring bands was so much better and so much easier than it is nowadays. So if something like this would happen, even we reached so much more since then, we grow so much, we have such a bigger fan base. But if something like this would happen nowadays, this would be devastating for us, because the costs of touring are so crazy, extremely high, that it's just, it wouldn't be manageable anymore,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that'd be tough. So I was looking on your Instagram page, I think, and I saw where you guys had named like the top, I think 10 or 11 Hungarian best metal influences, but I couldn't find the link. But I did see that you had tagged Ty Catalog, which is one of his favorites.
The first question I said was, did you list like Catafalque? Because I'm like a Catafalque junkie. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because it was, I think 2 years ago or something like that. I mean, UK, Hungary is not a big country, so actually you know like the names of all the bands who are active in the scene. Maybe you haven't seen them, but you know the names. But it's often like you know the name, but you don't really have an idea what they are doing. It's happening time to time. And 2 years ago, I was invited to it was a, maybe that's not how you call it in English, but a kind of talent show for young bands, for starter bands.
Right.
And they asked me to be in the jury, and it was so funny because I just sit down next to me with 3 other guys. I had no idea who they were, and then he told me like, yeah, he's like the maker of Tai Catafalque, and I was like, that's you. And then he was like, and he was so crazy, super nice. And of course, because he was so crazy, like such a kind, sweet person, I checked his band and like realized like, oh, wow, you reached the crazy shit. It's amazing. Yeah. So, but Hungary is a small country.
Well, getting back to Pitch Black Sunset, which I love.
Thank you.
God, such a good blend. Such good songs. But did you kind of come up with this concept of the opposites and then write the songs, or was it the other way around?
Oh no, we are super bad when it comes to have any concept before writing any song or even an album. We are like very bad when it comes to that. So it's much, as I said, we are really a band of natural process. So we started to write this album, and when I'm writing the lyrics, I'm always very focusing to be very honest, and it's always a scan of my mind and soul and heart, and then it's just whatever I have in my mind, I'm just writing it down, and then I take a step back. And for Pitch Black Sunset, it was like I took a step back and I was like, oh, actually there's a concept. I did not have an idea that there is, like, like unconsciously somehow it was there. So no, we did not have the concept. It just everything just made sense when we finished the album, and everything really just happened by accident. I mean, even the album cover, it was like I was just scrolling on Instagram and I was just facing the photo of the sunflower from a German photographer, and I was like, oh my god, this photograph is so beautiful. And I just checked her profile and I thought like, I mean, well, drop her a message. Actually, I have nothing to lose, so maybe she would be in that we can use this. And oh my god, she was so nice. She agreed immediately that we can use it as a cover. So we just did really small color adjustment. We did not want it to change very much because the photo was perfect, and it all made sense. Everything, like, it all made sense with the photo, with the lyrics. It just came together. But we are not the band who is able to sit down at the table and define a goal or a plan or a concept. It's just not happening when it comes to the Hellfreaks.
I love your accent, and I just wanted to ask you, as a friend of mine that's also Hungarian, and I asked her, I said, when Despicable Me came out, were all of the Hungarian people like, really, Steve Carell? Now everyone is going to say, you sound just like the bad guy in Despicable Me. Did it like ruin? You know what every American says,
Well, I
Damn
am
that
like
movie.
I am like a kind of mix when it comes to languages, because I grew up in Austria. I was a child in Austria, so my kind of second mother language is German.
Okay.
So I'm like I speak perfectly German, I speak perfectly Hungarian, and then my English accent especially is mixed from these two languages.
Okay. Yeah. That's great. 3
Yeah.
languages. That's great. Yeah.
When you write, do you write in English or do you write in another language and then later becomes English?
No, I don't ask me why. I don't know why, but I always wrote in English. It is like I mean, oh my God, we have so many German fans. I hope they won't feel it very offensive, but German isn't the most beautiful language in the world, if we can say it like that. And Hungarian is like, a Hungarian language is very difficult. It is very, very difficult to write good lyrics in Hungarian language. So even, as I said, there are like a billion very good Hungarian bands out there, and most of them still sing in Hungarian, but just a very few are able to manage to write good lyrics. I don't know. Hungarian language is very special, and often, if you just write down your thoughts, it often sounds super ridiculous. I don't know why. It's just not really working like that. You have to be a master of that language, and even I don't feel like a master of that language. So I always wrote in English, and and that's actually also how I learned the language, by writing the lyrics. So
It's really interesting. Yeah.
yeah, for writing melodies, English is just perfect. That language is made for music. It's perfect.
Mark actually minored in German in college.
No, I
but
majored.
he majored, I'm sorry, but I think
Really?
it's gone now.
Yeah, it's kind of gotten
Really?
moldy, but one thing about English versus German is German pretty much they stick to the rules, whereas in English everything has a lot of exceptions. It's like, well, most of the time you do it this way, but there's also these exceptions and then these exceptions,
Yeah. Well, in Hungary you have the same, that there are like billion of exceptions when it comes to the rules.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really have no clue why in Hungarian it is so difficult to write the lyrics, and why it sounds so ridiculous so often. We have like for one word or for one meaning, we have we have a lot of different words. You can use for the same thing, you have a lot of different words, and it is so and what you use in like the normal language when you speak with each other, it is absolutely not fitting into the context when you're writing lyrics or poems. Poems is even more difficult. So yeah, I just realized that I'm not good in that, and I don't want to do something that is like not good, and
I knew you were a cat person. I could tell from your merch with the shirts with the black cat.
I have I am, yeah, I'm a crazy cat lady. I have 4 cats.
We have 4 cats. Yeah.
Really? Yay!
Yeah.
We yes, then we belong to the same gang. So yeah, I have 4 cats, and almost each of my interviews are interrupted by them, because I always do my interviews in the evening time, always when it's dinner time for my cats, so they always go
okay.
crazy, and they are like loud and try to ruin my interview, so that I just stop to do it and that I give them food. So yeah,
Ours
that's how
always
it
go
is.
crazy when we're working out. They have a thing about when we're working
Really?
out. They have to get involved. They don't mind this, but if we started working out, they'd all be here.
That one's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, I have
big cat.
he, I mean not she, he is a British short hair cat. But my other three cats, they are like, oh, I don't even know how you say that. When they don't have a specific breed, they are just like stray cats.
Tabby. Just,
Yeah,
you know.
Tabby, for example, and I think you have a word for black and white cats. Is it tuxedo or something like that?
Tuxedo.
Tuxedo.
Yeah.
Love them.
Tuxedo. Yeah.
Yeah, we only have one purebred too, and he's a Russian blue. And we were
Beautiful.
doing this bit for the show where we spoofed When You Close Your Eyes Forever, but we did Walking Dead Forever, kind of like Weird Al parody lyrics. So we're singing it, practicing it. And I saw him come behind, and then he's like right up between us. Every time I sing, he does
The
that. He's like,
singing conjures the Russian.
I have
Yeah.
I have here in my flat, we are actually, this is the place where we also recorded the vocals for the
Okay.
album. And it is a super small like singing booth. And one of my cat, unfortunately, she can't hear anymore. She's deaf now because deaf? How do you
Yeah,
say
that's
it when
right.
she can't
Deaf.
hear? Okay. Because she's 15 years old, so she's a senior lady. But back then when she could hear us, every time when she went into the vocal booth, there was a specific note. If I went over that note, she was freaking out. And she was like, stop it. She was like, she was standing on her 2 feet and put her, it was so funny. She put her 2
Wow.
paws on my butt, like, stop it.
Certain octave. Certain octave would do that.
It was really like, there was like one point when she
That's
said like,
great.
enough. So I had to, I had to close her out of the singing booth because we couldn't work together.
That's so great. Yeah, the thing about cats is dogs don't do weird, unexplicable things like that. It's just not the same. Like we have, like another thing our Russian blue does is he's fascinated by moving water. He loves to look when the toilet flushes. He loves to stand when the dishwasher's running.
Yeah.
And we have a dehumidifier. He's fascinated by it. It's so bizarre.
I was always so fascinated about those cats who like to take a bath and to like water. I never had a cat like that. I'm always so jealous when I see it. Like, oh my gosh, I would love to be able to like wash one of my cats. Or they are very typical. They hate the water.
Yeah.
They are afraid of the water. But the other thing that I have seen that so many cats are afraid of cucumber. Like no one told that to Mike. But no one told it my cats, My cats, they love cucumber. They eat the cucumber. I can't left any cucumber out in the kitchen because they take it away. They steal it and they eat it.
Wow.
So it's,
So they don't jump 9 feet in the air like the
Oh,
videos?
No.
Really? Wow.
They're like, give it to me. Give it all.
I remember one day I was like, you think they jump for a zucchini? This is all we got.
Well, I was like, I really loved watching your guys' videos. Gosh, and I think that's another plus that you can check off if you guys have a great visual element.
Really?
Where'd you find that perfect field for the pitch black sunset? And how long were you out in that field?
Again, all by accident. So it's the thing is, when it comes to music videos, the most difficult part of putting together a music video is all about the organization, and especially it's all about the location. It is very difficult to find good locations for music videos, because you have to take care that if it's outside, then there is a possibility that it's going to rain. So what are you doing when it's raining? But if it's inside, then you mostly are not allowed to be loud, and even if you are just recording the music, for example, if you're recording a band scene and you want to show the drummer has to hit the drums,
Right.
Otherwise it will look weird. So it is very complicated when it comes to the locations for the music videos. And it was at the end of summer, and I was just going I don't know. I think we were playing somewhere with the band. I'm not sure where the location was. And I was just watching out the window, and that was like, as I said, end of the summer, the sunflower fields all looked like that. But I knew that it means that now we have like maximum 2-3 days when the sunflower field looks like that. So it was almost like, actually it is impossible to find someone who you can ask for to record anything in such a short time, because normally they are like planned for not for weeks, for months before, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. But we had the luck that actually our old band member, he was the guitarist of the band from 2015 till 2018, Tommy. He's still a very good friend of us, and he just started to do a video production company, you know. And I just called him like, Tommy, you have to get out with me to the field and just record whatever happens. I don't know what we're going to do, but this field looks awesome. Just let's record something and see if we can use it later on. And it was super spontaneous. I really just grabbed the dress that I found at home. I just did quickly my makeup. We just went out and just hoped that somewhere we will be able to find a field that is still like working and still looks like that, and that we can park there, and that no one will call the police that we're in the middle of a field and record something. So there were so many so many things that could go wrong, you know. But yeah, we were there, we recorded maybe for an hour, and we still did not have any concept for the video back then. It was just, okay, we have this, and then let's figure out what we're going to do. And we just put together everything later on. So it was very risky to do this. And there was a big chance that it will not work out, but this time we had luck.
Great. Yeah.
Oh my God. But that's nothing compared to Weeping Willow, where you had to be drowned in a tub of milk and then be covered in blood and crawl.
Weeping Willow was something that we planned for a long time. We even had to move the original planned shooting day for a month. So we already had something booked, but we have to move it because so many things were not finalized back then. You know, the whole idea came from my crazy mind, and it, you know, it's not like that there are so many studios in Hungary where you have a bath tube that you can fill with water and that looks good. So it was, and it's not like that there are so many makeup artists that are able to work with fake blood. So there were a lot of complications, and but it all worked out very well. But it was a very difficult video shoot. I was hurting myself, I was freezing, I was, you know, they were really, I mean, the crow, which is actually a girl, everyone thinks that he's a guy, but that was a girl who is a professional dancer. She really had to drown me in the water. She really had to like kind of choke me that it looks real, and it I thought that it's not going to be that bad, but it wasn't so good.
Oh my God.
I kept thinking, oh my God, poor Sue. She's like soaked every scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, there are so many little things. For example, everyone thinks that the bath tube is filled with milk. I mean, that's how it should look, but actually it wasn't filled with milk. It was because it was in the middle of the summer. We had like 35 degrees. It's so very hot. So if you fill the bath tube with milk, it's going to be super disgusting after a half hour. So you cannot do that. So it was filled with a kind of paint. Actually, it was like wall paint, because that's the thing that is like dissolving in the water. But you know, when she pushed me under the water, it went into my ears, my eyes, my mouth. And I'm quite sure that this is not the thing that you should put in your mouth, you know?
Oh my God. Well, how could you avoid it though? I mean,
and then you had like also this scene when I'm fully covered with blood and I'm just like on the floor and try to like go a little bit in front of the camera, actually lying on the floor. You know, the floor was, it was of course we tried to clean it as much as possible, but because of the fake blood, every little super tiny stone sticks to your body, and while I was like crawling, I was full with little wounds at the end, and so many little things happened there.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
but it was worth it. I mean, it is my all-time favorite music video that we've done with the band, so it was definitely worth it. And people also seem to like it, and
Yeah, it turned out
so I am
great.
very proud. I'm very proud of that. But it
What's the
it was
one of your other
nothing.
videos where you're in a cage that's made out of
Oh,
neon?
for Red Sky.
Yeah, Red
I
Sky, Red
just
Sky.
remember I saw that and I was like, where does one get a light up cage? Like, how did he get that? Did
Oh
you guys
yeah,
make that?
this is oh my god, this is so typical for Hungarian people. We are really problem solvers. So if there is nothing, if it was not a proper cage. It was just like, ooh, I don't know if I even have the vocabulary to describe it. It was okay. So there was like the bottom of the cage. It was on wheels, and the cage itself, it wasn't cage. It were just the light things that we stick together with a tape. So
Oh, okay.
that in front
Okay.
of the camera, it looked like a cage, but it wasn't.
So it's like there's like the rave, like the light up sticks type of thing,
Yeah,
like something
yeah,
like
yeah,
okay. Oh, that
yeah.
makes sense. Well, you fooled me. I would have never known. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really count if it's real or not, as long it looks
It looks
kind of real.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You gotta be very creative. That's excellent. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I was really touched by I think all of us have been in some kind of toxic or abusive relationship at some point. And hit me where it hurts just really touched me personally. Like, I love that once upon a time I let you in my sweet home, but you occupied my sane mind by handing me a key to a labyrinth with no escape. Oh my god, that was such great lyrics
Yeah.
there. But
Thank you.
I hopefully you were basing this on something else, but I'm sure we've all had personal experiences. What did you
Yeah.
find inspiration for there?
Oh well, I'm not hiding my past. I have been together with some fully idiot people. So now I'm like happily married, so it all led to the right guy at the end, but I have been together with some people that were definitely a wrong choice. And yeah, I also had like one relationship back in the past which was super toxic. Like it was really like I was with that guy for 3 years, and I wasn't myself at the end, because I was betrayed so often. I was lied about things so often, so I lost my trust in the whole world. So it really damages me back then. But actually, I did not really care about this in these days. But I just had a very good friend of mine, and she went to kind of the same thing, and then it reminded me like, everyone has, I think, that one very toxic relationship that you have to go through, and you will learn from that so much. And that's why I wrote this song. But the song is not only about relationships, because I also see it very often when people, they stick or they hold way too long for something that will never happen. This can be a dream, this can be some goal. Sometimes you just have to, like, sometimes it's just because of the hope, you start to do nothing and you just wait, and with waiting you just waste your life. And I think it is very, very difficult to have the strength to realize the situation and to say that, okay, this time I'm going to give up, and this time I'm going to focus on something else. So you can see Hit Me Where It Hurts also from this aspect. But it was written in the way that you can also like see it from the relationship side and also from this aspect.
It's hard because sometimes your head is telling you one thing and your heart's telling you something else. So, I
Oh, yeah.
wasted 5 years of my life, waiting for something to change.
Yeah, I was in a bad relationship for years and years. And there's pictures of me when we first got together, and I have like raccoon eyes. I have like this gray around my eyes. And
Yeah.
it went away when I stopped being miserable. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. I mean, it is your body also gives signs actually when something very wrong happens. So for example had like really hardcore skin problems back then, and I thought that this is because of I have skin problems, you know. And then when I went out of this, also this disappeared. So it's there are signs, but when you are in that situation, it is so difficult to see you from the outside and to do the necessary steps.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we play a little game. I have 100 random questions in front of me. I want you to pick 5 numbers between 1 and 100.
No, it's not 100 questions.
Not 100 questions. You're just gonna pick 5.
Okay. Let's start with number 25.
All right.
I think we should say we are going to play a game. We're going to ask you 5 questions from our bank of 100. Then people will react that way and go, "Oh my God, how much time do we have?"
All right. Number 25. If you were a breakfast cereal, which one would it be and why?
Oh my.
I would be definitely chocolate cereals because I like it.
Is Count Chocula Hungarian? There's the question, you know?
It is. I am not really. I guess it's even a US brand. Is Kellogg's? Is
Kellogg's,
that?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. When I was like, I was a child in the early 90s, so of course Kellogg's was a big thing back then, you know.
Yeah.
And I started my day when I lived in Austria always with Kellogg's, with the chocolate one. I really loved it.
Yeah, in America growing up, Kellogg's was like they invented all the breakfast cereals. They invented the Pop-Tart. We just thought Kellogg's was just these scientists that made the greatest foods ever.
Can you tell me about Pop-Tart? I have never seen this. I always see this in the movies. And we were talking so often with my husband, who is actually the bass player of the band, Gobby. Like, it looks so weird. It looks so bad. Is this really something good?
It's like it's a really flat pastry with a real thin layer of fruit in the middle and frosting on it. And you have 2 slots in your toaster, so you get 2 in a pack.
Mm-hmm.
You toast it and
they come in about 9 bazillion flavors. Yeah. And they're always changing them. Okay. You know, I always just like the strawberry or the blueberry, but they have the chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah, now they have half an aisle. There's a half an aisle in the grocery store just for Pop-Tarts. There's so many.
Okay, crazy.
But they're almost like a cookie. You know, it's like
it sounds very sweet. Like, you know, nowadays I could not. There's no way that I could start my day like that.
No.
It's very popular with drunk people also.
All right, pick another number, Miss Sue.
Okay, let's go with 19.
19.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Now we're going back.
Favorite song?
Oh
my least favorite song. Oh. Wait, this is a difficult question. Paradise City.
Wow.
I hate that song.
GNR?
I can kind of agree with that.
Okay.
You know why? It is it is because Hungary is really stuck in the past. At least like when we were talking about the radio stations. Sorry, I just had to finish the sentence. When it comes to the radio stations, it is very much it stuck in the past, and I had to hear this song like over 1 trillion billion times. And I was so often super sad when I was like, I just want to hear some good music, you know, just something which is not the same. and it's always the same.
Yeah. They
killed it. I wanted to choose something from the rock genre because I could tell like a million of, I don't know, maybe pop songs, but I wanted to go with something interesting.
They made a parody of that song around here on the local radio stations back in the day because we live in Maryland. We're in Baltimore. We're like kind of in the middle of the eastern shore of the United States, and we're not too far from the ocean. So everybody goes to Ocean City, and so they changed it to let's go down to Ocean City where the girls are cute and the sand is shitty.
Yeah.
Now you can sing that bird. All right. You're on your third number pick.
Let's go with 47.
47. Share an embarrassing story you are glad is not on video.
You mean an embarrassing story that I'm glad that it wasn't on video till
Yeah,
yet?
that was not on video. Right.
Honestly, like each of my parkings backwards are super embarrassing, and I am happy that people don't see that. I'm like,
Parking.
yeah, you know, it's I made my driving license when I was 18. But here in Hungary, it is not like in the US that you really need a car to get everywhere. So I made my driving license and I did not drive for 15 years or even more. And we just bought a car like a year ago, actually. It's crazy. That's the first time like, I had to be that old to have a car. And it's still a used car. So it's crazy. Whatever. So I'm just started to drive. And you know, Budapest, where I live, it's a big city. It's very crowded. It's extremely full normally. It's very, very tricky to find a parking place. So yeah, but when it comes to parking backwards, that's always very embarrassing.
Are people honking and stuff?
No, but like I think it happened, you know, it happens quicker that I'm saying, I will choose another one, and I just leave quickly when someone is there.
I am so bad at parallel parking, and I was with my ex-boyfriend, and we had a parallel park on the street we lived on. Yeah. And somehow when I was parking my car, I hit into his motorcycle, which hit into his car and knocked out his taillight.
No.
So I just said to my son, let's just stay in the car, but let's just stay on the motorcycle back up. And about 3 days later, he says, oh, my taillight's out. I think something hit me downtown. I was like, uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No,
not
actually,
on video.
Not on video.
Somehow, luckily, I had any tiny accidents so far. So I'm good. I haven't done any, you know, I haven't destroyed anyone else's car, which is fine. But yeah, I'm like, I always feel that I'm very insecure when it comes to that. So
when I was growing up, we lived in a really narrow street in the city in Baltimore, and the bus would come up and there really wasn't enough room for the bus. And almost once a week, somebody's rearview mirror would just be plowed off by the bus. Mm-hmm. The bus would just, because it was so tight. Yeah, I don't think that happens today, but it did back then.
All right, you got 2 more numbers.
Okay, let's go with 75 and 89.
All right, 75 is, can you do any impersonations?
Oh. I have nothing good for this one, man. I'm out. I don't have any. I'm sorry. I can't.
I can't do any. He's the impersonation king. He can do a pretty good Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. Well, not everybody needs to do it, you know. See, I always feel like if I do too many impersonations, then I've run out of jokes. So I can't. Okay. I can't do too many. You know.
Hey, you know what? This was like a super lame answer. Give me another question.
Okay.
Give the one after that. I think that's now 76.
If you had a personal assistant, what would be on their list of duties?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, doing the cat litter. Feeding my cats in the morning when I want to sleep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no alarm on the fuzzy things.
And no, and wait. Well, I know what my personal assistant would do. My personal assistant would be a social media manager who is doing the social content for the band. Yeah, that would be it. That's it.
Yeah. You need that. I would need someone to distract the cats so I could read. The cats hate me when I'm reading. They headbutt me and they sit on the book. And
I call this the cat campaign against literacy.
Do you have that? Have you noticed that they hate when people? You should be paying attention to me, not reading. You know.
Yeah, it's I work from home, and I always have two monitors in front of me, and it's a totally normal thing for me that one of my cats just sit down, in front of me, that they want my
Yep,
attention.
exactly.
But then I'm just like, okay, I have another monitor. Ha! You will not stop me.
You will not stop me.
All right, last question, number 69. If you could learn a skill you do not currently possess, what would it be?
Oh, I would love to be able to play the piano. That's the thing. I'm like, I mean, I know that, especially if I could turn back time, that's like something I would love to be able to start from a very young age. That's something that I miss. I mean, I know that I really not had a normal childhood because of my sport, so it was not like that I had any free time. But if I would knew, how this would end up, I would definitely tell my younger self to start and play piano, because it would be super helpful later on. And I know that so many skills that I learned on my vocal journey, I'm always saying it like that because I'm still going to vocal coaches every week, so it is like a crazy ride of learning new skills again and again, and it would be so much easier if I would learn to play the piano like in a young age.
That's interesting. Yeah. What happened to you? The injury? I can't watch it. Like if it's once in a while, someone will get hurt in gymnastics and people will say, "Did you see what happened?" I don't want to see it. I don't want to see a 14-year-old
No,
break her spine,
no,
It's
it
horrifying.
wasn't that spectacular, if I can use this word. Actually from the outside you could almost see nothing. I was on the vault, and I just I even landed on my feet from a front flip. I landed on my feet, but the only thing was that I wasn't landing, like straight. My position was like that, this is my head,
Oh, okay.
and this is my leg. But that's actually not a big thing, but I just had I don't know exactly why, but what happened was that I landed on my feet because of the front flip movement. My spine, it just made this direction, like this
Wow.
movement, and in between the bones you have the
Ligaments,
Vertebrae.
vertebrae,
I don't even know is it
discs,
The discs or the spinal
isn't
cord?
it cartilage? Yeah, like I think that's
cartilage. Yeah.
cartilage, yeah. So something like that. And the thing was that, so I landed on my feet, my spine moved this way, the cartilage moved out, and then when my whole weight really landed, the spine closed again, and this cartilage that was moved out, it was broken in little pieces and went into the big nerve that you have next to your spine. So from the outside, you couldn't see anything, but what happened, I landed on my feet and then I fall on my side. And it was a complicated thing because back then, because we were gymnasts, we were kind of, used to deal with pain. You learn that really, to deal with pain. You don't react like an average, like a normal person would do. And they took me to the hospital and they made a few tests. And because I could deal very much with the pain, and for me, like the pain level was somewhere else, I did not react how the doctors would think that I should react, So they sent me home and they said like, okay, let's just lay, just lay down and just chill and it will get better. But after like a week, I started not to be able to move parts of my legs. And then they realized, oh, this is something bigger. And then they just took me back to the hospital and made the proper, it's not, I don't know, how do you say that? It's not a scan. It's an
MRI?
Yeah, thank you. That's it.
Yes.
That's it. And then they said that, like, they made the MRI and they said that they have to do the operation right now, today. We can't wait a day longer because they are afraid that if we wait longer, then I will not able to walk properly again. So they made that operation, and then it's weird. It's so weird how our body is working, because just because my nerve started to get a long time damage, it was really when I had the operation and I was like kind of good again, I couldn't walk normally. I had to learn how to walk properly. I'm still today, I'm a little bit walking a little bit weird. Sometimes people can see it. It's because of that, because then I had to kind of relearn how you walk normally. It is so strange how all your body works, because actually what happened, I wasn't just walking for a month or 6 weeks or something like that. So you should be able to walk again. But because of the damage, I had to, I don't know, like reprogram my own body. It's a crazy experience.
It is. Yeah.
So are you guys planning on doing a tour? It looked like you were kicking off something around May 19th in Prague. So what do you have lined up for that?
Yeah, I mean, we have now like a little tour here in May. We're going to play in the Czech Republic, and then we have a couple of gigs in Germany, more in the northern part of Germany, and we have a few festivals booked in, I think, also Germany, Czech Republic. We have, of course, we're doing a local show here in Budapest. So we're still working on more and more shows, and I really would love to come back to the US because we made it once and I really want to come back. So I hope that hard work pays off in the end and that we can come back. It is really on the top of our bucket list. So cross your fingers.
We would love to have you here. Make sure you put Baltimore on your list.
Yeah, we would love
A lot
that.
of people skip us. They go DC and then Philadelphia.
Oh, well, it's really just, but I guess you guys know that, but it's really never on the bands. Like, if you ask me, I want to play everywhere, but it's always,
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it is so difficult, like coordination wise, and also on the financial aspect. And it's at the end, it's what the booking agencies are able to do, what type of deals they are able to do. So yeah, we would love to.
Yeah, I put together like Lacuna Coil and you guys, and then make a big crazy show. What do you think?
The Stacy Fantasy Tour. Yeah.
Maybe throw in a little as everything unfolds in this moment. We'll make it this big crazy tour.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be a good night.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. Well, this was great. I really appreciate you doing this, and it was wonderful talking to you. And can't wait to find out, what's going on with the tour, and we'll continue to promote the record. It's great.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm so happy to hear how much you love this record, and it was a really nice chat. Thank you for the weird questions. That actually is a cool part of the interview. So hope to talk with you later on.
Okay, great.
All right, you're officially invited.
Falling on deaf ears.
Okay, Deaf Ears 1. This is the Greeks are going, man. This is Vas Katsionis, Cynical Silence. So this band is the union of two Greeks, the New York-based vocalist Billy Vass and Athens polymath Bob Kassionis. He's in Firewind, Out Loud, and a bunch of other bands. And these two play a highly melodic style of European prog metal that sports relatively short songs. They're about 4 to 5 minutes, and lots of frosty twin guitar interplay crafted by Katsonia. I can't say it. The drums are complex and fill heavy, but the material never wanders into gent style wankery. So
obviously, the focus of this project is to create strong, memorable songs as opposed to quadratic equations set to music. There is no denying the AOR overtones of a cut like My Island is Home, or one of the disc longer cuts centering on a chill bump inducing vocal performance from Vas.
Yeah.
I also really like how they're like, forget band names, Vas Kastonius. That's
the cover's cool, very Dream Theater. Yeah.
That reminds me of Inception.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Other impressive cuts here include The End of Innocence, sort of hair banding between Fate's Warning and WET. The title track may be the disc's strongest moment. Vass's multi-track vocal attack, sweeping and impressive. melodies ricocheting over mathy drum fills, and a dazzling guitar workout from Katsionis. The disc pushes proggy boundaries without sacrificing metallic catchiness. Here's hoping that this collaboration will continue beyond just 2 records. So we're going to play the title track now. This is Cynical Silence.
This next featured band is called Wednesday, not to get confused with that Netflix series,
Right.
which was also good. But this group Wednesday is, can you guess how many bands called Wednesday are listed over Discogs?
I'm guessing a lot.
All right, I'll tell you at the end.
Okay.
While you're mulling that over, please note that we are discussing, and this Wednesday, this is a happy-go-lucky 5-piece from Asheville, North Carolina, with the warbler-like stream of consciousness vocals, twangy pedal steel, and drug-obsessed lyricisms. This is produced by North Carolina local Alex Varrer, Archers of Loaf note. Rat Saw Gods straddle several genre boundaries promiscuously. From a dirgy noise pop to a jangly alt country to a shoegazy belly aching, creating a mood that is frisky and light, yet undeniably melancholy.
Yeah, Carly Hartzman's quirky storytelling wheedles, I guess you'd call them, are distinctive if nothing else. Either you'll float away on them or you'll break out in hives. They work best when they're sandwiched between strong choruses, and this is best evidence in the breezy pop stroll of the song we're going to play for in a minute, Quarry. The layered guitars of Hartzman and M.J. Lenderman roaring to life like specters in heavy Doc Martens. Chosen to Deserve seems like the big pop offering. Lap steel pinging gently as Hartzman offers stories about the dark side of Benadryl. The chorus is almost like something from a Weezer album. And then there's drizzly cuts like Formula One, which features duet-style vocals with the guitarist M.J. Lenderman. It kind of reminds me of dinosaur alternative stuff like, remember Mazzy Star?
Oh, yeah.
Fade into you. Yeah.
Did you know in 2022 they released an all covers album song called
really?
Mowing the Leaves instead of piling them up? It features covers versions of Gary Stewart, Chris Bell, Roger Miller, Drive-By Truckers, Hotline TNT, Greg Sage, Vic Chestnut, Medicine, and the Smashing Pumpkins. They cover them all.
Love Chris Bell. I am the cosmos. Yeah. There's sort of a Kate Bush parallel here. Kate Bush, Queen of the Squeak. Her voice does not sound like Kate Bush, but it's the same thing. If you can get past Kate Bush's vocals, which I kind of never did. People rave about Kate Bush, and I know she's a musical genius, but she was always a little squeaky for me. In this case, if you can get past the warbling, this is the perfect background music for your yoga studio / espresso shop. And by the way, there are 10 bands called Wednesday. This is Quarry. Okay, Deaf Ears 3. This is our last Deaf Ears of the season. I'm so sad. The band is Scowl, and the EP is called Psychic Dance Routine. They come from Santa Cruz, California. Yes, the home of Comets on Fire and quarterback Trent Dilfer. Scowl is a ferocious 5-piece. They were 4-piece for a while, but all the newer photos have 5. So I think they added another guitar player. And it's led by vocal chameleon Kat Moss. Their latest in a slew of EPs and singles that date all the way back to 2019 is the magnificently titled 12-inch Psychic Dance Routine. I've always thought Tarot Car Wash would be a cool name for a band or an album. You guys can take that one. Tarot Car Wash. Go ahead. Anyway.
What follows is a raging 3-chord speedballs, rocky, dual guitar freakouts, and a vocal performance that can shift from witch hag to pop star in the blink of an eye. Moss really has a full range of tools, but this isn't straight punk. There's some 90s indie rock turntables.
No, turnarounds. There's some 90s indie rock turnarounds here for sure. For some reason, they made me long for Kelly Deal's knee-high athletic socks. Was that Kim Deal? Do you know what I'm talking about? The Breeders video?
Yeah.
I could see the socks. Yeah. 5 songs, rocket by in about 10 minutes. It's not a long record, but the aftermath is an itchy desire to hear it again and again and again. The opener, Shot Down, just tears away with pure hardcore fury before an impressive left turn at the chorus. And again, with the noise conjured by guitarists Malachi Green and Mikey Bifalco, it sounds like something from MTV's 120 Minutes or
I
something.
think it's Malachi. Or Malachi. Who knows?
I don't know. He's into Malachis, do you know? Halfway through the title track, the ticks from the drummer Cole Gilbert and Moss's dreamy vocals had me convinced I had been transported in time. I'm back in 1992 listening to Garbage, shotgunning beers in the back of my friend's van. Good times. But the tour de force of the album is most assuredly Wired. The bassist Bailey Lupo showing remarkable bass acumen, while Moss rails against the common problem, staring at a screen instead of talking to me. Don't want a wasted life. There's really no way. Anyway, so excellent 12-inch from a band that is clearly going places. Thanks for taking me back to the 90s. Now, if I can just find those tacky maroon corduroys I used to wear, all will be right with the world. I mean, I found my clutch shirt. So let's play a song. Oh, the heck with it. Let's play Wired. Wow. Episode 18, season 2, in the books. When it cries as soon as we're done.
Yeah, we were looking at some early videos from when we first came down here, and our wall behind us was empty, and now it is filled with friends
It is.
and
If
memories.
you were particularly offended, you're like, look how blank that wall is. It's like they were just getting started. No. What did we talk about today? We talked about soap operas.
We talked about astronauts that had to go through customs. They still make them go through customs, by the way. Every time they come back from the space station, fill out forms. God damn it.
You have anything to declare? All the shit that you told me to bring back. Yeah. We talked about clean comedy.
We talked about coffee murders.
Charles Manston. Don't even bring it up again. You gonna drink this piss? Yeah.
This has been the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. Special thanks to Shaky Sue from the Hellfreaks for such a great interview. We really enjoyed talking to her. Please get over and check out Pitch Black Sunset, available in vinyl and on Spotify. Snaggletooth theme courtesy of Jens Kemgren from the Firebombs. Deaf Ears theme courtesy of Tim Green. Get your copy of the Fucking Champs 3 on vinyl today. Deaf Ears bands Vas Castiones, Scowl, and Wednesday. Get over there and check all of them out yesterday. All content, this is our last episode for season 2, is content 2023, the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
I'm so sad I've been crying all day.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.